When you think of gold and diamonds, you probably lump them together, right? They're the twin symbols of wealth, of something that lasts forever. But right now, their stories could not be more different. One market is absolutely booming in a really straightforward way, while the other, it's fracturing into this complex puzzle of new trends and global politics. It's fascinating.
Okay, let's just start with this crazy number. $102 million. That's the value of the crown jewels stolen in a brazen, movie-style heist at the Louvre in Paris. I mean, it's a headline that just screams about the timeless, almost mythical allure of precious gems. And then, at the very same time, gold is making headlines for the complete opposite reason. Prices have been soaring past $4,000 an ounce, and people aren't stealing it. No way. They are literally lining up outside of pawn shops and cash for gold places to sell every last bit they own. So, you've got one asset so coveted that it's the target of a legendary theft, and another that's so valuable people are cashing it in like it's a winning lottery ticket. It's a tale of two markets, just heading in completely different directions. So let's dig into what is really going on here. All right, first up, a tale of two markets. We're going to break down this core conflict, why gold is on this simple, straight-up tear, while the diamond world is splitting apart in some really fascinating and, frankly, kind of confusing ways.
And when you look at how people are actually behaving, it is like night and day. With gold, the logic is super direct. Prices hit a record, so people sell. Simple. But the diamond market? Whoa, that is a completely different beast. See, prices for the smaller, traditional round diamonds, the ones most of us probably picture, they're actually falling. But at the very high end, demand for very specific, large stones is as strong as ever. It's not one market anymore. It's like a bunch of mini markets all doing their own thing.
So that makes you wonder, right? If the classic diamond isn't holding up, where's the value hiding? Well, that brings us to the new shape of value. It turns out that changing tastes are completely rewriting the rulebook for what makes a diamond a must-have. And the key to understanding all of this is the term fancy shapes. Basically, this just means any diamond that isn't that classic round cut. We're talking ovals, pears, emeralds, marquises, you name it. And right now, their popularity is just exploding, which has this massive ripple effect on how much they're worth. The hot list is all about these so-called long, fancy shapes. Ovals, marquises, and emerald cuts are what everybody wants, especially in the US market, and especially for stones that are 2 carats or bigger. And why? Well, tastes are just changing. You can probably thank social media for some of it, because these longer shapes, they often look bigger and more unique on camera. But, and this is absolutely crucial, it's not just about the shape, it's about the cut. A perfectly proportioned fancy shape is incredibly hard to find, which lets it command a huge price premium. But the flip side, a poorly cut one is considered illiquid, which is just a fancy market term for saying it's almost impossible to sell at a fair price. It's a really high-risk, high-reward game. Here is a perfect example of just how specific this all gets. Take the cushion cup. A long, rectangular cushion cut is so in demand that it sells for a 20 to 25% premium over a more squarish one. I mean, think about that. A massive difference in value based on just a subtle change in proportion. It's a market that's all about the tiny details. But shifting tastes, that's only one piece of the puzzle. There is an even bigger force at play here: global politics. And it is kicked off what the industry is calling the Great Tariff Reshuffle. And believe me, it is creating some very clear winners and losers all around the world. So what's happening is, recent US tariffs are completely turning the diamond trade on its head. Because the EU has an exemption, the trading hub in Antwerp, Belgium, is seeing a major boost. At the same time, Israel, another huge hub, is getting absolutely hammered with limited sales. And then you've got India, the world's polishing center, kind of caught in the middle, trying to negotiate its own way out of this mess. And the situation in Israel, it's really getting serious. This isn't just some memo with business jargon, it's a pretty desperate plea from the president of their diamond exchange. He's calling for urgent political action. That's a huge signal that these tariffs are threatening the very survival of their industry.
So what are Israeli dealers doing to adapt? Something pretty wild, actually. They're now buying diamonds in India and shipping them directly to the US, completely bypassing Israel just to avoid the tariffs. This is literally redrawing the map of the global diamond trade as we speak.
Okay, so you've got evolving tastes on one side and geopolitical hardball on the other.
what does this all mean for the global market? Let's connect the dots from New York all the way to Hong Kong.
As you look around the world, you can really see these forces at play. The US, still solid, driving that demand for the big, fancy shapes. Belgium is thriving, cashing in on its tariff exemption. Meanwhile, the market in India is quiet. And that's not just because of the Diwali holiday. It's because the sky-high price of gold, the very same thing making sellers happy everywhere else, is making gold jewelry too expensive, which then slows down diamond sales. And then there's China.
A major new wrinkle has just appeared in China. The government suddenly got rid of special tax benefits that have propped up the diamond trade there for years. This is a huge policy shift, and it's casting this serious shadow of uncertainty over future demand in one of the world's most important luxury markets.
So let's bring it all together. The key takeaway here is this really powerful divergence. The gold story? It's simple. High prices are fueling a historic sell-off. The diamond story, though, is anything but simple. Its fate is tied to these hyper-specific trends in shape and cut. On top of all that, U.S. tariffs are creating a new world order in the diamond trade, and a sudden policy change in China could signal a pretty big storm on the horizon.
All of this really leaves us with one last big thought. In a world where what's fashionable and what the trade laws are can be totally upended overnight, what does it even mean for something to truly hold its value anymore?